Hey everyone, thank you for all the suggestions for what my three-song video should be. I'm going to do a series where I take three or four songs. I think I'm going to just do three this time and go over the basics, starting with the chords and the melody, and then open voicings, some improvisation, some rootless voicings, some chordal voicings, some block chords. I'm just going to try to cover some of the main jazz concepts and apply them to these three songs. And they are going to be, of course, Green Dolphin Street. I got a couple requests for It's a Wonderful World. I don't think I've ever covered that song before, and I think that would be a good one, because I want to keep this kind of oriented towards beginners, but as we get, to the ninth or 10th video in the series, it'll be fairly complex. So anyway, hope you can follow along through all that. And I think the third one's going to be Have You Met Miss Jones, which I've done a video on previously, but I'm going to start at the beginning and go through all the steps. Okay, so we're going to start with Green Dolphin Street first. Going to do that one in the key of C. Going to do It's a Wonderful World in the key of C, and then Have You Met Miss Jones is in the key of F, but you probably know the bridge goes all kinds of crazy places. So let's start with Green Dolphin Street. So right away, we've got a bad sounding chord because of this, but really it doesn't sound bad at all if you play it, very sweetly, like something like that. It could sound good. But let's change it to C6, which is the common thing to do when the melody note is the root on a major seventh chord for a jazz tune. And the first part is kind of a Latin beat, so we're going to do something like... All right, that's C minor seventh. Then we're going to D with the C in the bass. Now, that's D seventh, so we can still call this D seventh, but it's easier to write it as a slash chord, so everybody will put that note in the bass. And then we're going to go to D flat. Again, keep the C in the bass. You could possibly leave out the D flat if you can't quite handle, getting to it. It's a little awkward. All right, so from the top. Now there we could use C major seventh because we've got the fifth up here. I mean, we can use it both places, but it'll work better here. All right, now that's the A section. Then we go to the B section, back to the A, and then to the C section. So let's go to the B section next. And this is a swing feel. So one, da, da, ba, do, do, da, ba, do, ba, ba. All right, no matter what the chart says, you got to give it that feeling of the swing. A one, a two, a three, four, ba, do, ba, do, ba. Same exact thing in the key of E flat. So I know a lot of beginners like to do songs in the key of C, but good songs are going to usually go other places. So that's why it's really helpful to learn, your basics in all 12 keys. At least do some practicing so you can get into some of the standard keys like E flat and A flat and F, B flat, of course, maybe G. I don't know if I did that first one in root position. Let me do it again. D minor, easy chord. All right, so on the G7, I left out the D. You can put it in, but you can, on a dominant chord, right? Not a major seventh, not a minor seventh. You can leave out the five, the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can leave that note out because it's a jazz song. F minor. And the melody note's kind of part of the chord there, so I could maybe go. To G7, put the 5 in. Sometimes it sounds better that way. Maybe leave the B out because you got it up here. A section again. A 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the hardest part because there's so many chords. D minor, B minor 7 flat 5, easy. Just white keys. E7. Could do this. A7. Okay, It's a Wonderful World. I'll probably have to write a chart for this. I don't have one yet, but well, let's go to E7 there. Now we're getting so low that if we play this A flat major 7th in root position as a closed voicing, that's where we just do all the notes right in order. It's getting a little low. So let's just take out the note that we already have in the melody. All right, so take this C out and just leave it up here. And then we're going to go to G7. And once again, it's pretty low. So, you know, the third is going to clash with the melody. So we'll just leave the third out. And then, you know, if you had the chord this way, we call that a suspended chord. The third gets suspended up to the fourth, where it will usually resolve back down to the third. But we'll just leave it out. So I say to myself, look at this chord. All right, that's an F sharp, or we could call it G flat. Let's call it G flat. G flat dominant 7th, but with a flat 5. And there's different ways of writing it, but in this case, I think just writing the flat 5 is the simplest. Then on to F major 7th, and a little G chord. So it could be C6, but just a regular C major is nice. And lots of things you can do here. Let's go to B flat. Now let's go to F7th. Yeah, we'll just do like C to F and back to C. So F minor, back to C. Here's the bridge. Now this time I played an inversion of G7, right? All right, so I took these two notes here and put them up here. And notice how easy it was to get to. D minor 7th, G 7th. A minor 7th, and E minor 7th. Okay, you get the idea. What was the last song? Crap, now I forgot. Oh, Have You Met Miss Jones? I think I'm just going to refer you maybe to my other video on this one, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. We will do a lot more with this song later on. I'll just play it real quickly for you. Now, because the melody is so low here, we're going to have to use just some stripped down voicing. So we can start with a full voicing of F major 7th. But right here, we're just going to do the root and the 7th. Maybe the 3rd would be okay. A minor, that's all you need for it, because there's the 3rd, right? We've left out the 5, which is okay in a lot of chords, mostly dominant chords, but really any chord, unless it's a flat 5, you can just leave it out. And there's the 7th. So, and that's all you need for D7 also, with the 5 being left out. G minor, and then the melody. All right, that's C7 with the 5 left out. We were able to use full chords there because we had room. You know, if the chords are down here, they're going to be muddy. If they're up here, they're going to get in the way of the melody usually. All right, second verse. C minor, I'll put the 5 in, and then F 7th. B flat. This is where beginners are going to have some trouble. But it's good to learn these chords, and now you have a song, you can put them in, so you'll remember them if you use them in songs. A flat minor 7th. All right, so that's A flat, C flat, E flat, and G flat. All right, and then D flat. We will have an easier way of doing this in the next video, but if you don't know these chords, learn them in root position. Now, G flat major 7th, E minor, easy one, and then A 7th, D major 7th. Back to our A flat minor 7th, and our D flat 7th. And that's a 2-5 going to F major. So that's the minor chord on the 2. All right, if we're in the key of F, that's the 2 chord. And then here's C 7th. And notice I've taken these 2 notes, kept them up there, because it's so easy to just go and move those 2 down. And then to get back to F, you just lower these. A minor, I guess D7, G minor 7th, and you could call it G minor 9th because that's the 9th, but there's no need to do that. But if you see a G minor 9th, it just means G minor 7th with a 9. And C 7th, let's put a real fancy chord in here. All right, 7th, 3rd, 13, and we'll add the 9. All right. And these more complex chords are easier to play because it's hard to play 4 notes with your left hand. It's much easier to play 2 and then play the other 2 up here. F6. Okay, we've made our start. We've got 3 songs to work on. And, if you just want to concentrate on one of them, I'll do all 3 songs in each video and go over the concepts. I'll do stuff like block chords. Chordal voicings. Improv. All right.